Hi, guess what? I've got tattoos. And yeah, that's what we're going to talk about. But we're also going to talk about a really cool place here in Key Largo. So let's get there first, and then we'll tell you, does it hurt or not? And why the hell did I do it? So this is an abandoned quarry. There's actually a couple of them on the far south end of Key Largo. And I don't know if you can see it, but way over there is where we're gonna head. And we're gonna talk about this stuff. You've got questions. Everyone has questions. Everyone bombards me with questions. And the very first one everyone asked is, does it hurt? And the answer is yes and no. Believe it or not, some of these actually kind of tickled. On some of these, I have actually gone asleep, and the tattoo artist has had to wake me up so I can shift and they can get to a different spot. Some have hurt like hell. It completely depends on where it is. So a lot of these things here, like, they didn't hurt much at all. This lady right here, I don't know if you can see her, I'll show you a close-up, hurt like hell. I have a lighthouse right here that took about 6 hours to create. The first 5 were fine. The last one was miserable. I was actually crying. The tattoo artist kept saying, her name was Anna. Anna kept saying, you know, just hang in there just a couple more minutes, but they kept going over and over the same spots, and yeah, that one hurt. Now, there are things you can do to make it more pleasurable, I guess, if you will, and I know them. And on the Anna light sleeve, I did not do it. You got to be hydrated, you got to have food, you got to be rested. Otherwise, it just adds to the miserable. But it's not miserable, because when it starts, there's this endorphin rush. The very first few lines and the excitement of getting new ink is just a complete freaking rush. And yeah, if you sit in the chair for, and I think the longest I've done was that 6-hour mark, it does get old rather quickly, and it does start hurting more. And depending on where you get them, they can hurt a whole lot, but they mean something, and it's worth it. Another question I get asked very, very often is either, there's a bug flying right in front of the lens. Okay, another question I get. I'm going to get this started eventually. Okay, another question I get asked very frequently, and a phenomena, if you will, that happens quite often, is they say, what's it like to have tattoos? Or somebody will compliment me. It always happens in Morocco, for instance. Every time I go down there, walking through the Medina, the alleyways, anywhere, somebody will suddenly yell out, hey, nice sleeves. And I honestly have no idea how to respond to them. I usually lock up in this sort of American sort of way, because I know they can't have ink because of their faith. And at first, I didn't know why they were yelling out to me, hey, nice ink, but it turns out they really like the ink, so I just sort of yell back, you know, shukran, thank you. But it's still odd, because honestly, sometimes I forget that I have them. And yeah, I really mean that. I'll be sitting there at dinner or something with my arms crossed on the table, and I look down and go, oh, shit, I've got tattoos. I honestly forget that I have them. They are so much a part of me, of my skin, that I can look down and not even realize they're there, because they're just my skin. And then all of a sudden it'll pop in my head that other people don't have this. Another question I get asked very, very frequently is, do you have a favorite? And that's a really hard one to answer, because at one point in time, they were each my favorite. Every single tattoo is not just because I saw it on a board and thought it would be cool. Every single one of these has a meaning. All 30 some of them. Each of them was a person, an event, a place, a something in my life that I wanted. From, I don't know if you can see it all in here, from the very first armband that I got when I was 40 with the D and the K for my kids' initials. And by the way, they're still arguing over who gets front billing and who gets back. But everyone is a favorite. Some of them I even dislike now. For whatever reason, they meant something at the time, Maybe they meant a passing of something or a change of something, and maybe I just really don't want it anymore. But I will always keep it because this isn't, it's not Wikipedia. It's not history that constantly changes. These are permanent. This is what I felt, who I was at the time. And that's the way it's going to be until the day I die. Now, if push comes to shove, do I have a favorite? Probably this one. It's a bird. When I was early 50s, I decided to start on this sleeve, and the bird was one of the very first things I had put on. And to me, a bird means freedom. It means the journey I was on at the time, which was changing from where I was to where I'm going. And I slapped that one on, and it meant something. It still means something because I'm still on that journey. Now, I will tell you something that's really funny. It's upside down, I know, because I can't show it to you. The first time we were in Morocco, Nikki and I found a couple Berber necklaces that were meant to be nomadic. And I had this idea that on the back of my hand, I would have it recreated along with this bursting sunshine. And the words that I thought meant, I am a nomad, I am free. Now, enter the second time we went back to Morocco, and a lot of friends were just looking at my hand and looking at my hand. They're going, what does that mean? And so I told them, and they laughed and went, no, they're real letters, but it's like W4LGBBL. You know, it doesn't mean anything, which is probably good because it could go a whole lot worse. Don't ever use Google Translate, by the way. But it's supposed to mean, I am free, I am a nomad. And instead, now it's just sort of a laughing point whenever I walk around an Arabic country. Now, there is another faux pas one, I guess, if you would say. I really don't know if I can show it to you. There's a map on this arm, which is, I decided if I can create a world, I can create my own damn world, right? So they're all my own continents. I've named them all. There's life, there's travel, there's even, I'm going to get that one covered up because I no longer like it. But there's one, oh, here it is, Amar Cesar. I thought it meant via Google, love forever. What it means is the exact opposite. No love forever, you know, hate love. And I kept saying I was going to get it changed. I was going to put a little word in there to kind of reverse the meaning, but in a way, all of a sudden, my mistake kind of meant something to me after the fact, and that was, yes, love is forever, and there are periods in your life when it is not. And so now that continent on the back of my arm is kind of a place I go to when I want to think about the loves lost, the loves missed. So yeah, even permanent tattoos can evolve. Okay, the third, fourth, I forgot how many questions we're on. Most asked question I get is, will I get another? And that's a hard one to answer. Probably yes, but do I have a desire to coat a leg and a sleeve? No, I'm kind of done with the whole large everything. I actually never intended to do the right arm. I was going to do the left arm, done. I got one here, a girl crossing a bridge, and somehow that morphed into an entire second sleeve. I'm not letting the thing on the ankle grow, but yes, I will most probably do more. But here's the thing. If I do put more on, they have to have meaning, like everything else. I'm not a person who collects tattoos because I like the art. I'm a person who collects tattoos because they mean something to me. Now, am I going to have future life experiences that are going to mean something to me? Oh, absolutely. I'm positively sure of it. And in fact, I'm toying with the idea of actually getting my logo in the words "The Pirate Wanderer" and this little bear spot back here, because this YouTube channel means something incredible to me. It's something new, it's something important that I'm going to look back on no matter where it goes or whatever happens. So, am I going to do more? Yes. Am I going to do more giant, big things? I don't know. Check back in a couple of years. You know, maybe I'll do a video on it. Okay, there is one more subject I want to cover. Let me see if I can squat down so you can see some water behind me. And it's not a question. Well, it is, but it's an unspoken question. It's the look you get from people who have this, oh, look at that poor man in his midlife crisis, you know, oh, look at him, he's trying to be younger than his age, and oh, isn't that sad? That has nothing at all to do with why I have ink. And if you're thinking about doing it yourself, turn those people off. It is your body. If you want to adorn it with nice clothing, if you want to adorn it with ink, that is completely your choice, and it's completely mine. I did not get my first tattoo because I was having a crisis. I got it because I was in the middle of a divorce, and I wanted to honor my children because I wanted them to feel like they were a part of me, even though we couldn't be together all the time. That was the reason for the first tattoo. And in fact, the family had some problems around the time that I came to Florida, again with me moving away, and I don't even know which arm it is on anymore. I think it's this one. I had them embossed again on my arm, this time their full names, on a tree that was growing, because I wanted to show them again that they are a part of my life and that they will always be a part of my life, and I want them emblazoned on my body. So, nope, none of my ink is because of a midlife crisis. Never really had one of them. You can't even count the Mercedes convertible I once bought. That was a whole different story. Maybe that was a little bit of one. But anyway, the ink is not. The ink is an expression of the people in my life, the places in my life, the loves of my life, expression of my life. I highly suggest it. And yeah, it does hurt. It sometimes tickles. And it means something. So, get some ink. Because don't all good pirates have some ink? And be a pirate and go wander with your new ink. We'll talk to you soon.